Starting next week, a one-way fare will go up to $2.50, and monthly unlimited passes will rise to $112. That's $9 more than commuters are paying now. Most people don't consider these standards when listening to their music, especially the young. The Journal of Pediatrics says 12.5% of kids from 6 to 19 suffer from hearing loss because their music is too loud. In 1973, Martin Cooper, the VP of Motorola, called his competition at Bell Labs from a phone like this. He bragged about being the first to go mobile. His phone weighed over 2 pounds. Its battery lasted all of about 30 minutes.
I remember the ones that would sit in the armrest in a car, and also the ones that you carry around like a purse that had the phone on the outside and an enormous battery and everything.
Nowadays, the batteries last far longer and the number of phone functions is far greater. In the early 90s came the early smartphone. It could receive faxes and emails. In '97, a man took the first picture from a camera phone. Now, in 2013, the sky is the limit.
They really have become, that idea of a personal digital assistant.
Wake me up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Okay, it's set for 9 a.m.
This iPhone's personal assistant's name is Siri. Handheld phones have almost become a necessity. Some people say they can't live without them.
When I forget my cell phone at home, or my cell phone dies, or I lose it somewhere, I feel like I lose a part of myself.
But before you think everyone is hooked on this so-called lifeline, think again. Susan Woolhandler is 64 and does not own a cell phone.
It just seemed to be a way that my husband would call me even more, asking me what was for dinner and where something was.
Maybe in the next 40 years, technologists will come up with an app for that. Mea Ashley, Columbia News Tonight. Christopher Morrison grew up in Red Hook. He's no stranger to the Gowanus Canal. As a kid, he and his friends would play in it.
Out of my peers, there was times where people was thrown in the water, fell in the water, or even jumped in the water.
And when asked if they were ever warned about it being full of toxic chemicals?
Honestly, you don't have to have somebody tell you to look at New York water and to understand that it's toxic. It's green.
Even though Morrison didn't take caution as a kid, he does now. This weekend, he attended a community meeting with the EPA. He and other residents voiced their concerns about the cleanup.
We don't want it. So you can take your machine and your friend and let the doorknob hit you with a good Lord's picture. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye is what most people in Red Hook want to say to one part of the EPA's plans. A proposal to build a structure called a CDF, a confined disposal facility. A CDF is an underwater concrete basin that will be filled with the toxic chemicals and sludge from the canal. A mix of cement and slag will be added to treat and stabilize the poisons. The EPA says building a CDF in Red Hook versus somewhere else would save millions.
You're gonna remove this and all that and then leave it here. Why leave it here if you can get rid of it as an entire instead of leaving it underground?
Columbia professor Dr. David Rosner says treating the chemicals in a CDF won't work.
The problem is many of these chemicals are not destroyable. They're indestructible. They were meant to be indestructible, and they are.
Dr. Rosner says the chemicals can't be destroyed, but according to the EPA, once the sludge is in the CDF, it won't be harmful.
If we saw a risk, we wouldn't have proposed it, so there's absolutely no risk.
The EPA has assured residents that if they do not want a CDF in their community, they will not move forward with plans to create one. Community approval is only one of the 9-part criteria they would have to meet. But the CDF, in effect, keeping the sludge in Red Hook, is by far the most controversial part of the plan.
Like I said, I'm more for the cleanup and the filtering, but I just don't know about the after effects.
After effects, like a natural disaster possibly destroying the CDF and contaminating the entire Red Hook community. Mea Ashley, Columbia News Tonight.
Got it.
Angel Perez has never worked a day in his life.
Let's have some fun, okay?
Because he doesn't consider coaching kids as work.
This is not a job. This is a lifestyle. This is, you know, they've given me more than I can ever give them back.
Angel volunteers at Harlem RBI 7 days a week. It's an organization that uses softball and baseball to help kids reach their potential.
The words "I can" are not spoken on the Harlem RBI field.
Through mentoring on the field and in the classroom, their goal is to get kids to college.
The 100% graduation rate, the 97% college acceptance. I mean, we share those victories.
He was born and raised in New York, but now travels an hour and a half daily. But he doesn't mind. He says he owes it to the kids.
Right now you're acting too cool for school. There's a joke that the reason there's no lights at the Harlem RBI field is because they'll never get rid of me.
The kids call him a father of fathers, a coach of coaches. He's the one they turn to for advice.
He pushes me to the best of my abilities and maybe more. I just sort of trust him. Like if he was to probably say, bat with your eyes closed, I'll probably do it.
Vince Coleman is the program director at Harlem RBI. He says hiring Angel a decade ago was one of the best decisions he's ever made.
A coach needs to be able to take advantage of teachable moments. A coach needs to make sure that they are consistent in their message. And Angel does all those things and does all those things very well.
Angel doesn't only enjoy being on the field, he also relishes his role in the classroom.
There is no difference between the hard work that you put onto the field and the hard work that you have to put in the classroom. I expect your very best.
But he won't be able to tell you the score in his team's game last weekend. He's only got one number in mind.
2019.
That's the year the players on this team are set to graduate. Mea Ashley, Columbia News Tonight.
Get to the cage. Go, 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 go.